I am challenging Bob Goodlatte in the primary that will be held on June 12th. He and I are both on the ballot. I'm challenging him as a constitutional conservative. I'm challenging him as a farmer, as a veteran, as a mother and a grandmother, and as a fiscal conservative. I have had a lot of concerns for the past several years about Bob and his performance and his real commitment to the Republican creed. I think many of you probably you know what I'm talking about. So he needs to step down, we think. We need to have real representation of the conservative values that we hold, of our fiscal conservatism, of our respect for the Constitution, and also really just we need someone up there who will truly honor the Republican creed. And I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again, because what the Republicans say they are about is very, very good, and it is good for this country. But many of our Republican representatives, including Bob, of course, have not faithfully followed through with this creed in their actual votes and in their actual proposals. We could talk about Bob. I will do that here in a little bit. But first, a little about me. I am a farmer here with my husband in the southern Shenandoah County. We live in Mount Jackson. We raise cattle. We've been doing that since 2003. Prior to 2003, I had spent 20 years in the United States Air Force, and I retired in March, April, May timeframe. 2003, I retired after 20 years of service as a lieutenant colonel. During my military career, I traveled to a lot of different places, including several locations in Europe. I came back, did a stint at National Security Agency, and then moved over to the Pentagon in 1998. And I had two different jobs in the Pentagon, one for the Air Staff, and my last job and final job, I worked at the Office of the Secretary of Defense. Now, as you can imagine, when you work at different levels of a large bureaucratic organization like the U.S. Air Force or the Department of Defense, and you're conservative and you're a fiscal conservative, you see many things that concern you. I did see many things that concerned me over many different tours. So it made me more of a fiscal conservative, not less. I do understand the needs of national security, and I put those first. But in any case, I think I'm kind of equipped with a knowledge and an awareness of what government can do, both good and bad. And so in that respect, I think I probably know more than Bob Goodlatte does when it comes to how government actually works. He knows how laws are made. But making laws and having a lot of different laws, that's really part of the problem. And so I'm here to offer an alternative. My campaign platform, the theme of our campaign is something you guys will all appreciate: less government, more prosperity. And it's really that simple. I'm a constitutionalist. I take the Constitution literally, and I don't believe it is too complicated to understand. I think the average person can do that. And really what's missing is just a little backbone. And so I'm here to offer a little backbone, at least as a choice to you as you decide who you would like to represent you in Washington. My veterans experience, my farming experience, certainly. I'm also a part-time teacher. I've been an adjunct faculty and a full-time public school teacher here in the 6th District, Page County schools, for a couple of years. So I've actually seen probably more government than I ever wanted to. However, I think that makes me a person who understands many of the things that are near and dear to the hearts of the people in the 6th District. We're talking about public education. In many of our 6th District counties, in fact, in many of the counties across the country, public education is the greatest and largest employer. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing, but that is the fact of the matter. Well, I understand that. I've been employed by that system. We also have a great many colleges and higher education institutions here in the 6th District, more than other districts do. And I've worked in those environments and taught those students. So I have a sensitivity to that. I didn't mention I have a PhD in world politics, of course, which is why I would teach at the college level. So I've got that. And of course, the agriculture background is something that is fundamental to how we live and work and how we think here in the 6th District. So I've got a lot of that going for me. Luck of the draw, really. But I think I bring all of that to the table, in addition to a serious commitment to upholding the Constitution and demonstrating a real backbone in the Congress. This country has spent its way into near oblivion, and I don't think I'm overstating it at all. We have $17 trillion in debt. That's just current debt. We have, by different estimates, as many as 100 trillion to 280 trillion unfunded obligations. Many of these obligations were voted on and supported by the taking on of unfunded obligations for my children and our grandchildren. Bob Goodlatte voted for many of these things, and he did that under Republican leadership. He's also voted to fund things that the Democrats have wanted. One of the things Bob is talking about is he opposes Obamacare. Well, we all oppose Obamacare. I didn't vote to fund it, and Bob has done that at least 3 times already in approving those budgets that would fund Obamacare. So, you can have words and you can have talk, or you can have somebody who's committed to really shrinking government and reducing its spending. So I've spoken a little to you about this. I wanted to read a bit of a speech that I gave, very short speech, that I gave last Saturday at the Harrisonburg-Rockingham County Reagan-Lincoln dinner. And here's what I've got for you. And I want to share that with you because I won't be able to bring this story to you otherwise. So here goes. My grandparents were Robert Taft Republicans. My parents were Goldwater Republicans. And the first president I ever voted for was Ronald Reagan. I believe in what Reagan stood for, and I share his commitment to limited government, common sense, and liberty. Yet, in my lifetime, I have seen ever-increasing growth in government, no matter what the Republicans were talking about, and no matter which party was in charge. Just as Ronald Reagan had done, George W. Bush ran on a platform claiming to be for smaller, more constitutionally limited government when he ran for election. In practice and in fact, the battle to restore the Constitution and truly limited government has been consistently lost. I have come to the conclusion that the government of the United States today is very much a socialist government, not a constitutional one. Tomorrow, actually it's not tomorrow, it's already passed, but on April 1st, the United States reached a new milestone of being number 1 on the planet. This time we became number 1 in the corporate tax rate. We will have the highest corporate tax rate on the planet. We do have that as of last Sunday. We should be ashamed, and the founders most certainly would be. Part of the problem is that we ourselves have failed to demand good government. We have failed to understand the Constitution, and we have failed to respect the founders. I also place a great deal of blame on many of our so-called conservative representatives for going along with this, for accepting compromise, when in fact they should have been standing their ground and fighting for the Constitution. I could be wrong about this. I've been talking to people all over the district in the past year, and I've met a whole lot of people who actually like socialism, and many of these people call themselves Republicans. It is entirely possible that we do have the government we deserve. I stand here today demanding serious cuts in government, spending at all levels, now, not a decade from now. I believe that the Paul Ryan plan is too little, too late. It is more compromise, more empty words, and it will not lead to fundamentally constitutionally limited government. I believe our representatives in Washington need to tell the hard truth, and they need to act on principle to ensure this nation, as President Lincoln once said, may long endure. I'm fighting to ensure that my 4 children in their 20s don't face a lost decade or 2, and as they seek to build their lives and families, I am fighting to communicate to our elected representatives that they must start showing some serious backbone. I am fighting because I believe in this country, and I believe that liberty and truly free markets are the only answer to saving the nation. I am fighting for the Republican creed, and I'm fighting for all of us today who embrace and love that creed. I spoke to a group of local high school students and college students last night. They told me that they feel a sense of hopelessness about government solutions. This is actually wonderful for our party because we, at least according to what we tell people, don't believe in government solutions. But they also told me that if a Democrat told them they were going to increase taxes and grow government, and a Republican told them that he would reduce taxes and shrink government, and yet they knew from experience in history that both of these politicians would actually raise taxes and increase government control, budgets, and bureaucracy. Knowing this, they'd have to vote for the Democrat, because at least the Democrat wasn't lying to them. We don't need to be lied to. What we need, and what our children deserve, is a way to the future. And if this nation is to long endure, that way is liberty and sound money, limited government, and unlimited opportunity to create, to produce, and to compete. Our children and grandchildren deserve the opportunity to keep and grow their earnings, accumulate capital, and live their lives in a free nation, not a nanny state. As my campaign slogan goes, they deserve less government and more prosperity. We have in many ways failed our younger generations, and there is a reason we don't see them at our meetings and on our membership rolls. We were inspired by Reagan in the 1980s because what he said was true. Truly free markets liberate and enrich everyone. And if good government is possible at all, it is because that government is limited by both law and by popular demand. Young people respond well to the hard, unvarnished truth, sometimes better than we do. I'm grateful to be here today and to have this opportunity and to stand up for a renewal of conservatism and for a Reagan-inspired restoration of the true promise and potential of the Republican Party. Well, that's what I told the Republicans in Harrisonburg and Rockingham County last Saturday, and they liked what I had to say. They enjoyed it. They responded well to it. They were concerned by it, I'm sure. I stood right in front of Bob Goodlatte and former Senator Allen as I made this speech, and I don't know how they responded to it, because I am incriminating people who have been in office and who have failed to walk the walk. That's why I'm here. So anyway, I appreciate you giving me these 12 or 13 minutes to tell you a little bit about who I am. I didn't talk about my policy prescriptions, and I hope to come up, visit you, and tell you more about those. Certainly our website has my issue statements on just about every area you can think about, and that website is KarenK4Congress.com, KarenK4Congress.com. I encourage you to check it out and read what we've got to, listen to what we have to say, and read what we've written and what we stand for, and realize that you do have a choice. For the first time in really 20 years, conservatives have a viable and really truly conservative choice this year on June 12th, and I hope you'll exercise that. Anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much.